everybody. Welcome back to another video around Genesys AI. In this video, the three of us, the solution consultant team here at Star Telecom, we're going to be talking about virtual agents and Genesys Cloud virtual agents specifically. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Everybody.
Perfect. So what is it? What is virtual agent, right? So virtual agents, very hot topic right now in the contact centers, but it is a method of automating repetitive tasks, right? It's going to allow contact centers to get better intent recognition or understand the intent of your customers before getting to a particular human agent. It's able to scale, so it is your 24/7 available customer service agent, right? It can be designed for very specific repetitive tasks, and once we've identified those tasks, those repetitive tasks, in theory, it's going to boost your agent's productivity so they can focus on those more complex interactions that are coming into the contact center, right? So let's identify low-hanging fruit, or another way of looking at it is, can we automate repetitive tasks that have high value to your contact center? I'll get into some of those with our little demo that we have, but think of it that way, right? That's what Genesys agents are. What it's not is this perpetually self-learning tool that you just set it and forget it once. You set it once and then you kind of forget about it. No, it does require some manual intervention. It does require input, human input, to continue making to make it learn, to make it effective in the contact center. And we'll get into the various tools that Genesys provides. Sound good, guys?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right.
Excited to see this.
Yeah. All right. So here is a fictitious company we have, GCare. So it provides healthcare plans, and think of it just like a very good health center, company online, and it does have a very good digital online presence. So this is the chatbot or virtual agent disguised in a chat window. But one of the things that keep in mind is some of these tools, if it's appropriate for a voice interaction, you can definitely leverage virtual agents for your IVRs, as an example. Right. So in this case here, once the virtual agent has greeted the customer, in this case there was a couple of greetings in here. What is your email address, right? Just to get that info, so it's able to match and potentially even better provide appropriate. These are called canned responses or quick responses. But these have been designed to either get those low-hanging fruit options or interactions that are coming into the contact center, or the high-value items, right? So, for example, symptom checker, right? Let's go through that. And what's this now doing is it's guiding the user to basically triage their symptoms. So in this case, where are you located? I'm going to say New York State. Right, so think of it as just a e-health service, and to help triaging, right? So why are you calling in? Telehealth type of scenario is, can we start triaging these to get it routed to the most appropriate healthcare provider, practitioner in the digital space? So someone that's more skilled in a particular area in healthcare. Right, so where are my symptoms right now? Let's say it's in my legs. And what type of injury is it? Is it a reoccurring problem? Puncture wounds? I have some leg problems or in non-injury, right? So these are all now particular workflows that we will help identify as a Genesys Cloud partner, Star Telecom. We'll design that into the flow, and then design these systems, in this case triaging healthcare, right? So depending on what it is, in this case is, do we want to go ahead and talk to somebody right away? If we do talk to somebody, we can pass all this information to the agent. Do we schedule an appointment? or no thanks, right? Maybe you want to schedule an appointment. We go down that route, right? So now, again, this is another low-hanging fruit, but high-value action that we're automating. So we can schedule an in-person visit. So where are you? I'm not American here. Obviously, you can tell by the CN Tower. Go Jays. And I'm just going to put that in there. And right away, right? So look, we are automating this process of one, triaging, figuring out what your symptoms are, scheduling an appointment, and then scheduling it out, right? So all automated without having to call into the contact center or call into a specific branch to be able to do that, right? So I'm going to stop here, right? Goes through the flow and completing the appointment reminder. But how does this look in the back end? How easy is it, or what are the elements that we need to consider when it comes to building something like this out, right? So one of the things that Star Telecom as a partner does really well is we approach all our AI projects data first. So Alexander on our team, he's our data analyst. He's going to turn on Intent Miner and really drill down, add data to the conversations that are happening in your contact center. And from this data analysis, we're going to determine what are the appropriate intents, high value intents, or high value tasks to start programming and designing against for this virtual agent. And then from there, right, this is the appointment reminder. What Genesys is able to do now is based on, either those quick replies or it's a free open text. Genesys, we just need to add a couple of particular what's called utterances. So these are the types of requests that the context or the virtual agent can handle. And then it's able to either generate brand new ones and continue on and add in the appropriate utterances for this particular flow. From there, very quickly, again, we're not going to go through a whole design session, but once you've gone ahead and programmed those, is now we just develop a simple menu system of those utterances. You can see the ones that we programmed in there. We add them in. What is the next step, next actions that we want to do? So if I find and I'm sorry for it being incredibly small here, but I'm again not going to go into a whole design in this video. But once we go in here, we can find the benefits, we can find the symptom flow, and then what does that kind of look like, and we'll be able to continue on and design the appropriate system that way, right? So one of the things that we know, and when it comes to initial design, that this is an iterative process between us, you, our clients, our Star Telecom clients, and being able to continue on and constantly improving this system. So Genesys does provide a lot of analytics to continue iterating and make sure that we do come to a very efficient customer journey via virtual agents. So one of the key tools that we have here is learning. So if there are instances in that chat conversation that Genesys or that virtual agent hasn't come across, and we should be able to continue fine-tuning it, it does provide us that data. So you can see here for this time period, there are particular intents that the clients are asking through that virtual agent that Genesys isn't able to match. So let's go ahead, let's open those up, see what those are, right? So again, this is test data, so how can I help you, right? Should be something that we recognize, but Genesys is able then to be able to give us what it's unknown, and then from here we can continue fine-tuning and add in these utterances to the appropriate intents, or do we need to create new ones, right? Or again, through some of the data analyst work that Alexander can provide to you, is do we need to create new intents to continue on with that to make this virtual agent very effective for you.
One of the other really good things about the virtual agent over your typical bot flow is you can actually see on these screens here, we have all of those little blue tabs, and those are indicating each of the sections that does have additional functionality because we are using a virtual agent over a regular bot. So Edgar, you did mention with the intents, being able to generate those intents automatically. That is one of the, and generating the slots. So that is one of the pieces that we can do and leverage when we're using a virtual agent. But also when we get into the knowledge, we're able to actually feed in and support the virtual agent's knowledge base and what they're able to respond with actual knowledge articles that we have stored. And along with this, we can actually define how the virtual agent responds. So if you actually go over to general there, so you can actually decide whether you want the agent to focus on responding with intents and focusing on that flow, whether you want them as neutral, or whether you want them to focus on answering questions using those knowledge base articles. And then as we actually get into the configuration of the answer, there's a few options there as well that range from being just providing the knowledge articles to actually with some of the newer virtual agent flows that we can build, we can actually generate conversational answers based off of those knowledge articles. So that is a bit of a newer inclusion as well. And then additionally for after contact, so this is after the virtual agent has done their role, we can actually produce a summary of the conversation. So this is tying in from not just the summary of what the virtual agent has done, but if you do pass off to an actual agent who is working on Genesys Cloud, we can provide them with a summary post interaction. So these are a couple of the abilities that the virtual agent does provide, and a couple of things that just enhance your call flow there. And this is actually before we even get into the conversational aspects of the virtual agent. There's a lot more understanding and a lot more capabilities there. I'll actually pass it off to Alex, who can kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would just like to dial it back just a bit and go to the screen that you're just showing. So on the response bias side, or those settings. So this is definitely a useful feature and functionality, but I think that it can be used to a great extent to really optimize how your bot is working. And once again, it's small, but not insignificant. So if you want to kind of funnel all of your customers through almost pre-coded conversations, you would want the bot to rely on the intents, right? So that the customers go from checkpoint to checkpoint. But if you don't need to collect any piece of info from your customers, and you simply want to automate really kind of boring tasks such as general inquiries, standard FAQs, what have you, then you would go down the knowledge route. And once again, not extremely important, but still makes a huge difference in how your customers and leads kind of communicate with your company really, and what they're facing. Now, also when it comes to the actual content of the conversation and to the articles and whatnot, and the knowledge base really, it really boils down to you can create this as complex as you need it really, or as simple as you need it. And depending on what you put in those articles, that's kind of the back knowledge that the bot will have. So going more modular and making it easier for you to basically upskill and maintain is still going to provide the bot the exact same answers, the exact same kind of knowledge, but it's simply going to be easier to maintain and automate on your side. But if the bots actually need to understand and communicate and instruct and go through very specific processes and procedures, such as a refund process, refund that a customer needs to go through, or a set of actions that will actually lead to a refund or a return or whatever, you could always just go with more lengthy articles that are dense and dense with knowledge, and have the bot actually instruct over the chat. And ultimately, you have to make the decision at some point. Star Telecom can help you, but it's ultimately up to the client to decide which of these parts of the business will get outsourced to a bot. Like, if the refund process is overly complex, maybe just keep it with the agent in the first place. Maybe just grab a couple of things ahead of time, such as, name, last name, zip code, what have you, the type of product, maybe order ID, etc., and then route it to an agent. Or maybe even kind of try and leverage AI to its full extent and even complete the whole process if you have some API calls to make in order to make all of this possible. So ultimately, 99% of all of these things that we're discussing today and in this series, as a matter of fact, are design choices, and that are driven by business needs.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks for those insights, Alec. And then so lastly is, as we, I want to say kind of QA, but how do we know that this agent is performing correctly? How do we know when do we have to go into fine tuning it? So again, Genesys does provide a comprehensive and constantly evolving suite of analytical tools and dashboards to monitor that. So for example, what we're seeing here is how well the virtual agent is containing, right? In this case, how is it well? Is it being effective in going through the appropriate flows? If at any time in the flows, the customer says, hey, I just want to talk to somebody, your flow or the conversation is just not doing it for me. Genesys will be able to design those milestones and those analytics will actually back to show us how well that interaction is happening, right? Intent performance list is exactly how often are we recognizing those intents that we had. Summarization, how often that's happening, wrap-up codes, all the stuff that we're used to from a contact center perspective. Genesys is now mapping those metrics to a virtual agent to again monitor its performance and make sure that we are getting our money out of the investment that we do to design these automated systems. Okay. So just to recap again, I hope everyone learned today what virtual agents is at a very high level. Potentially some of the use cases. I know we just stuck to the G-Care use cases. We showed how a bot flow could be, how you can add in the virtual or AI components into the architect, how potentially easy or complex or efficient it is to create those flows. We briefly talked about how Star Telecom use a data-driven design approach to these AI flows and interactions. And then finally, what tools are there to be able to audit in the virtual agent's performance? How do we use that data? That's something that Star Telecom will be able to help you interpret the data that is being generated to help you apply those learnings to improve the virtual agent and to make sure you're getting your ROI on them. So with that, thanks everyone for listening in on the virtual agent call meeting today. See you soon.
Thank you.
Everybody, cheers.